It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Here is the LA Fire Department Chief, Kristin Crowley. Finally, somebody in local government is telling us the truth about the resources and about how the city has failed the citizens of Los Angeles. This is very important to listen to.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say, justifiably, what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
Regarding the Times article that came out that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was closed to repairs and it was empty, 117 million gallons of water could have been used in this fight.
Sure. So my stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants. Please defer that to DWP or whomever controls that part. But I can tell you the resiliency of our firefighters, if there's no water, they're going to go find water. They're going to figure out a way to do the best they can with what they've got in a very dynamic situation.
Wow. And she was appointed by Mayor Bass, I believe. So LA Fire Department Chief is meeting right now with Mayor Bass. Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting? Throwing the city under the fire truck or bus and saying, we needed more water. We needed more help. 117 million gallons could have really helped in Pacific Palisades. All right, Courtney Friel is with us from KTLA, anchor and reporter. Courtney, welcome to KFI. How are you?
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Nice to talk with you again. Long time no talk.
That's right. That's right. You know, I'm so proud. Look, I'm a big fan of all of local news. You know, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11. That's all I do is watch news. I record it all night. I'm like a lunatic. But man, this has to be an unbelievable week for field reporters. Not only is it dangerous for you and your co-reporters or co-workers, but to see all that despair and then try to hold it together when the camera is on must be an unbelievably difficult thing to do.
It is so crazy, but wait, I have to tell you, I was just on my roof. I live in Mar Vista, and I'm looking towards the Palisades fire, and unfortunately, the wind has shifted. There is a huge smoke column going up in the sky headed towards the Mandeville Canyon area, and so the people that had just been evacuated and returned home in the Brentwood area are now getting the warning to leave again. So anyone listening, I'm just making them aware. But yes, I went into the Palisades yesterday and to Malibu today, and I was doing like overnight coverage. So we're just kind of zombies and taking on obviously a lot of like energy from people losing their homes. And I mean, it's just crazy. Like I'm very connected to the Palisades community. I know at least more than a dozen people who have lost their homes. My kid's dad lives there, so that's their house was spared, thankfully. So they'll be with me for a while. And because, they can't even go back. There's no power, reception, water, gas. So the 20% of the homes, I would estimate that there's 20% remaining. So you have a 1 in 5 chance if you think that your house burned down. There's a 1 in 5 chance that it didn't, depending on what area. There are still some standing. But, if you're not going to be able to live there, you're going to have to clean it all out. And you're going to have to live like a pioneer. So now everyone's trying to find these short-term rentals and furnished places, and that's creating all this chaos too because families are fighting over it and everyone's jacking up the prices. I mean, it's a disaster. And we are also dealing with the people in the Eaton fire, and there were even more structures lost there, 7,000 versus the 5,000 in Palisades. But I mean, how many people are going to have the experience of going back to find nothing, which is what I literally just did with a friend, and he was sobbing, and it was very emotional.
Oh, it's the worst.
And there was nothing. I mean, he found a Pellegrino bottle from his trash can. That's the only thing that was left, and he took it, and he's going to make artwork out of it.
Again, Courtney Friel's with us. we on the first night this happened, Monday was just a normal show here, and for you guys over at KTLA as well. I know we all warned everybody about the winds, but we never expected this kind of wind. But so Monday was normal. Everything turned upside down on Tuesday, and when you talk to people on the ground, people have lost everything. I know there's a strong sense of sadness, but it seems to me, at least here in the Valley, looking from afar, that people are the sadness is now subsiding, and there's a tremendous amount of anger out there now.
Yes. I think there will be huge lawsuits? There will be. However, I mean, to kind of look at the other angle of this, to be fair, I think, there is some blame on Mother Nature. I mean, that's like telling the people in Florida, like, oh, your authority didn't stop that hurricane, or, oh, your police people in Kansas didn't put up, a defense system against a tornado. I mean, the reason everything got so out of control was because the winds were so crazy that they can't drop the frost check if it's not going to do anything. So there was not any water drops or frost check for the first 24 hours, and the winds were so crazy. That's why it got out of control. Yes, the water issue was a thing. That's just because in the Palisades and stuff, the people there don't want all these big, ugly water tanks there. I mean, they could make those, but that's been an issue.
Right, but the reservoir was empty.
Another side.
It was 117 million gallons in that reservoir that was completely empty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just going off what the authorities are saying with how when the lower when all the water being used at the lower level, they couldn't fill the tanks fast enough. But I think that's just how the system works.
But Courtney, I don't know if you got.
We didn't have the air. Not having the aerial support was the main problem, that they couldn't stop it. That was a huge thing, and we also, because President Biden was in town, I wish he honestly would have left earlier, because we were not able to fly the chopper for the first 24 hours, and we couldn't see. I mean, if we would have been broadcasting the images like, this is so bad, like,
I agree.
Leave now or whatever, then I don't think people understood the magnitude of it, because they didn't have that perspective.
Right. But look, Courtney, if it was just one thing, that would be fine. But it's two, it's three. It's the fake alerts that go out. Yeah. It's the evacuation. People told to evacuate yesterday. I don't know if you got the alert. People in Lancaster, people in San Bernardino got that alert. And then they're asking everybody to stay in contact and stay vigil and do what we say. And then they send out this false alarm to everybody, to 10 million people, and it's just one mistake after another after another.
Yeah. I think that all of that stuff is going to play out, of course. I think that for the people who, I will tell you, the person I was just with right now, like, for the people who lost their homes, their next step is calling their insurance agency and finding a place to live. I mean, then there will be the anger. I think a lot of people are, adding opinions that, like, aren't really involved in the situation, and it's disrespectful to the firefighters who are, like, busting their asses out there. They really, really are, and they have been around.
But I don't. But the anger is not directed at the firefighters at all. It's directed at management of this city, right. and I think they've got a point. You elect these people, and you hope that they do their jobs, and it seems like. I live in the San Fernando Valley. We've been, very minimally affected. But I see people even in Burbank that are screaming and shouting about how this was handled.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just think it's a little bit of both, because I know that was the situation this is why every single on-air person who has covered fires for 30 years, no one has seen anything like this. And we just haven't had hurricane force winds with these fires. I mean, when the Sunset fire the other night was executed flawlessly, because there was water drop after water drop with the frost check. I mean, that is a huge asset in fighting fires, and we did not have that for this. And that same with Woolsey. That's why if it is that windy, it is just like it's Mother Nature. Like, it's just hard. It's just harder to fight. It really, really is.
Right. But I also think that it's justifiable on this level, where the city of Los Angeles spends annually $1.5 billion on homeless, and the budget for the fire department is $800 million. That's what pisses people off.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. No, I get it. I mean, we can find things wrong in all levels of politics. I just know for what I'm doing, like, that's not my angle at all. Like, I'm focusing on what has actually survived and people and their stories. Like, I mean, we don't even go there, like, on the news, like, even the suspected, like, arson stuff like that. We're just not there yet. It's like, if police confirm that, we'll report it, but we're not going to speculate. Like, we're not going to talk about potential lawsuits. Like, we just talk about, like, what is happening right now. And, like, honestly, like, I didn't even know we were going to get into politics. Like,
okay.
I'm looking out the window and seeing this. Like, I'm like concerned about the people right now because I'm like on the roof looking at this massive fire right now. And hopefully, but I do see water drops and stuff. So hopefully because they have those resources, it'll help this time and it'll save a lot of homes.
Right. But where are people going? There are 0 hotel rooms and 0 Airbnbs in Los Angeles.
No, it's a huge. My 2 best friends are realtors, and I talked to both of them today. And people are price gouging the apartments. Parents are getting into fights. There's 30 applications on every property. They're saying, no, I deserve to have this place because it is, because I have more children than you. And they're throwing money at it.
Oh, I mean, it's a mess.
It's crazy. It's like so many emotions. It's so many levels of, it's going to take years and years to rebuild. Think about all those people. Like, it's going to be hard for some people to even rebuild. Like, I talked to a developer when I was out there yesterday, and the homes that are on the cliffs and the homes that are on the beach, like, they were built with stronger foundations back in the day, but that's all eroding. And so the codes aren't up to date for right now. And then if the people, once hopefully the Coastal Commission will ease up on the rules, and then, they'll have to build these big, strong concrete houses on huge beams. And, that's going to cost way more than what the California Fair Plan wants to reimburse these people with. So
it's going to be a mess.
And,
it's going to be a story for a long time.
There's like a zillion tangents you could go on this.
That's right.
I just know for, I think I know there's a lot of anger. But I just got back from being with a friend for like 2 hours where there was nothing left.
It's the worst.
That's the next story I'll be telling on KTLA.
I really appreciate coming on. I know it's been a long week. You've been on, working 20 hours a day, and hopefully you can get some rest. But I really appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you. It's nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, come back in better times.
Well, and let me be more prepared for a political thing. It's so funny. They were like, "Will you go on and talk about what has survived?" And I was like,
I'm just telling you, the vibe on the street is, and I wanted to find out what it was in Palisades because I know people in Altadena are also pissed. But anyway, please come back with us in better times, maybe even next week.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Keep in touch.
All right, Courtney Friel,
audience.
Thank you from KTLA,
Okay, bye.
Anchor and reporter there with KTLA.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Talking about these fires, I guess this Palisades fire is flaring up again. Watching that on Channel 7. Steph, let's flip on Channel 7 here and get an update. This doesn't look good. It's not burning. It doesn't look like it's burning towards any homes, but in LA, it's always burning towards homes. Let's turn this up.
Fire retardant line right along that fire road, and over on the left are Tarzana and Encino. Right now, everything appears to be going as planned. Reporting live from Air 7.
Okay.
I'm Chris.
All right, so this fire is burning up as soon as it crosses over the mountain there. If they don't stop this at the top of that mountain, it can, I'm not saying it would, but it can burn down to Tarzana and Encino. Those are the 2 cities that are directly north of this fire. So the people in Encino and the people in Tarzana, you've got to be aware of it. I'm not trying to scare the hell out of you. It probably won't reach you. You're probably okay. But this whole week, we've had a lot of you're probably okays turn into your home is lost. And so we all have to be aware of what's going on. Everybody has to have a bag of valuables, pictures, grandma's jewelry. You've got to have that together. If you don't have it together now, I don't know what you're thinking. Nobody's immune to this. Ask the people in Altadena. They had no idea that this fire was going to come down the hill and wipe out their community. None. The people in Palisades, same thing. People in Sylmar. This affects very wealthy people, very poor people, everybody in between. Everybody got hit. Everybody got hit this week. And everybody's on edge. Everybody's on their last nerve. And I hope that everybody, you know, if you're staying with friends or family, if you can't go back to your home, or maybe your home doesn't exist, I hope you can find some kind of comfortable, quiet place tonight or this weekend to just sit there and think about what you're going to do next. But just some quiet time. Because if you're out on the roads right now, everybody is with the horn. I hear people honking now all day long. From where I live, we live fairly close to an intersection. I used to hear one horn a day, maybe. Now it's every couple minutes. Blast. And it's not the, excuse me horn, the beep, beep. It's the big one. And people have had it. We all think we're next. We're all afraid. We're all concerned. If you have kids, that's your big concern. A lot of schools were closed today. Next week, not sure what they're going to do with schools. I imagine they're going to open them up so everyone can get back to somewhat normal lives. Kids going back to school, they need that. The parents need to go back to work, and we need a sense of normalcy around here in Southern California. And hopefully we get it. Hopefully we get it very, very soon. All right. We got to take another break, huh? Okay. All right. We're going to take a break here. We'll come back and talk to Clint Carlton. He's the director of disaster relief for the Dream Center. And if you want to help out, we'll come back and tell you exactly how you can do that. I know there's a lot. KFI has the most generous audience in the world. I believe that 100%. Every time we do Katarina's Club, you show up and you guys all collectively donate hundreds of thousands of pounds of pasta and sauce and about $1.5 million in cash. This is the most generous audience in the world. When we come back, we're going to talk to Clint Carlton, the director of the disaster relief for the Dream Center. And we partnered up, iHeartMedia and the Dream Center, to try to help these people out.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. On Demand from KFI AM 640.
So let's go right to ABC 7. This fire is coming towards Encino and Tarzana. They're going to try to keep it on the south side of that mountain at that firewall there. And Chris Christie is above this fire right now. And
shed, has just caught and ignited. And you're saying,
shed
can you
there
tell
just
us more
blew
about
up.
This fire facility? You're saying it's a helispot. Can you explain to our viewers what a helispot is, Chris?
So a helispot is a little mini camp where they station these large pools for the helicopters to dip into. And by the way, it does look like there is a firefighting vehicle down there. It looks like a truck that is now catching on fire there. This is one of the trailers that they are losing. They had to leave some things behind as they really they ran out of here in a hurry. We literally saw them speeding through the flames.
This is the fire that's just south of Tarzana and Encino.
Flames, because as the fire was creeping north, some of these stray flames just kind of whipped up the mountainside and just enveloped this entire fire road. And it did it a little bit unexpectedly, obviously, because they were really running in a rush. There's one of those pools right there near the top of your screen, very top of the screen, right there. If you can make out that square, that right there, and there's another pool right there. Okay. I think they have two pools set up there where they were dipping in for water.
But they still have access to the reservoir that you showed us just a minute ago.
The Palisades fire.
To the reservoir. Yeah, that's actually the one on the bottom is a pool. There's another pool set up nearby. But yeah, now they're going to be relying on the Encino reservoir to provide water to those helicopters. There's again a couple of containers that are going to go up, and it does look like this fire is going to jump the fire road. But that is not the fire road of concern. There is no fire retardant there. The fire retardant is just to the north of where this fire is burning.
And tell us again, did I hear you say that there were firefighters you saw fleeing that area that were maybe on the ground?
Yeah, while we were in a commercial there, just before we brought you these live pictures, this group of firefighters right here had to move their fire trucks and their vehicles in a hurry because this fire quickly and unexpectedly crept up on that helispot, and now you can see everything they left behind is now going up in flames. So it does appear that it caught them a little bit off guard. We saw a couple of firefighters on foot running away from these flames, but by all accounts, from what we observed, they were able to get everybody out. We don't believe that any firefighters have been injured during this little episode.
All right.
All right. Christy, thank you again. Palisades fire at 21,317 acres, 8% contained, but the firefight continues. We're going
okay,
to
this is
check
what a
back
lot
in
of people in the valley are concerned about this fire. This coming over the canyon here, and it's coming towards Tarzana and Encino. And as the sun goes down, it's going to look very frightening. But you've got to believe that the LA Fire Department has enough phos-check up there to keep this fire out of that part of the valley, out of Tarzana and Encino. They're going to be drawing water out of the Encino Reservoir up there, which is just south of Ventura Boulevard off White Oak Avenue, I believe. And this is, let's go to Channel 4 here, and Eliana Moreno. She's in the valley. And this is what people in the valley are seeing right now. If you're in Encino or in Tarzana, time to get your bag of valuables and ready to get out.
And so that's what we're showing you now. You can see that the flames have, in fact, made it to the very top of the mountains here. And again, we're on the San Fernando Valley side of it all. So we're north of the 101 freeway, not far from Reseda Boulevard would be our nearest major street. But we're looking towards the Santa Monica Mountains. And again, this is the Palisades fire, and it's just at the very top of the ridge. Now, this is putting up a huge plume of smoke that can be visible literally from anywhere in the San Fernando Valley. Just a few minutes ago, it was actually shooting straight up, which tells me the winds were relatively calm, all things considered, to have it be shooting up the way it was.
They've got to stop this fire on the top of this ridge.
Water drops, though. There's a Chinook there coming through my shot right now. So we know that they do have firefighting assets on this still from the air. It's not going to be any planes because it is a little too dark for that now, but we do still see multiple water dropping helicopters making drops on the fire, and eventually we will make our way to the south side of the fire the best we can, where we are hearing that structures are yet again threatened.
Oh my God, it never ends.
Are the structures on the valley side then? Is that what we're to understand, or are they still on the other side?
So the structures that are burning are on the south side of the fire, so they are on the Palisades side of it all, on the south side of the Santa Monica Mountains. But we're showing you this perspective from the valley side just because it was closer to us as we were taking off from Whiteman Airport, so that the residents of Tarzana could see what this looks like. I know it's very nerve-wracking because the homes that you see on the bottom of the screen, that's all in Tarzana, so we're on the San Fernando Valley side. But when you're in your home and you're looking up into the mountains, you're seeing this giant storm of fire directly behind you. So I can understand it's extremely nerve-wracking for anyone who lives in this area and is looking at that monster wall of flame behind them. But at this point, it is still at the very top of the ridge, not making its way north of that ridge. So hopefully the winds won't shift and start to make that push towards the valley. But again, at this point, it's right at the cusp of it, right at the very top of the ridge. And just beyond that, on the south side of the Santa Monica Mountains, is where we're hearing that structures are, in fact, yet again threatened.
Okay, so Eliana, we want to keep your picture live shot here from News Chapter 4 and bring in meteorologist Melissa McGee.
Okay, I was actually born and raised in the San Fernando Valley, and my mom and dad had a house right there in Tarzana, and then when I was a kid, that Reseda used to end, make a dead end at Braemar Country Club there, and there were no houses south of Braemar. That's where it ended, and it ended up, the golf course and the pool and the country club there at Braemar used to be called Deauville, and they changed it to Braemar. So that's where this. But after we moved out, they opened up those mountains to new homes, and every one of those homes up there, the new homes up there, are multi-million-dollar mansions. All of those homes in Encino and Tarzana. I went to Birmingham High School, Portola Junior High, and so I'm very familiar with this area. All of those homes up there, south of Braemar and the ones that they built off of Reseda towards the golf course there, they're all multi-million-dollar huge mansions. And this fire is now completely visible from those houses. And people are scared to death, and now they're going to start to evacuate out down Reseda Boulevard. So if you haven't gotten out, you may want to think about putting the kids in the car and getting the hell out of there. As Adam Schiff said, you can clearly see now from the San Fernando Valley off of Reseda, Davenport, Pasadero Drive. That's where my mom and dad used to have a house up there in Pasadero Drive. And all of those homes up there in the Tarzana Hills, you can clearly see that fire now. And you're just hoping and praying to God that doesn't come over the ridge. And so far it hasn't. But we don't know. You know, this has been unprecedented times. You know, 20 years ago, you would look at that and go, okay, the fire department will put that out. You know, but they're so stretched. The resources are so thin that this fire could creep over and over Mulholland. And I think Mulholland's a dirt road by then. I think it ends in Encino. But this could come over, you know, to Davenport and Winford Drive up there, Pasadero Drive, all those streets up there, south of Ventura Boulevard, south of Wells Drive. That's another throughway that people take a lot up in the hills there, Wells Drive. But if you're in that area and you're up, you know, near Braemar Country Club, and if you want to get out of there going south, Reseda Boulevard may soon become very congested, like we saw the street coming out of the Highlands at Pacific Palisades. So if you're in the valley now, you can see this huge glow from Tarzana all the way to Encino, off Mulholland. And this is the big fight right now on the Palisades fire. They're trying to keep this fire out of the South San Fernando Valley, keep it off of Reseda Boulevard, out of the country club area, and then those beautiful, huge mansions that are south of Braemar Country Club. And every time we look at this now, you can see more and more flames. And if you're familiar with that terrain, it hasn't burned in a long, long time. There is plenty of fuel there, especially because we've had so much rain over the last 2 years. And if that crosses Mulholland and comes down into the valley, that might happen. And if the wind changes, that's going to be a major, major disaster for the valley. So we've got to all hope and pray that the LA Fire Department, LA County Fire Department, they obviously know what they're doing. And they used to have controlled burns. They don't have that anymore. I don't know why. But that's for another day, for another show. And they were just hoping and praying that this fire does not come over that ridge. But if you're in Tarzana or Encino right now and you look south, you can very clearly see the fire at the top of that ridge. You can see the glow now that it's dark, and you can see flames, which is very worrisome. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Keep an eye on this. Channel 7 has it. Channel 4 has it. And if you live in the San Fernando Valley, if you're in Tarzana, you're in Encino. You know, we talked 2 days ago about the Sunset Fire going towards Hollywood Boulevard. And you said, oh, that doesn't affect me. This affects you now. If you're in Tarzana or Encino, this is now a place to keep your eye on. Keep your eye on this. Keep it on KFI and keep your eye on this fire. This is now a very important thing to keep your eye on. Very important. We're live on KFI AM 640, watching this fire come up towards Mulholland, towards Tarzana, towards Encino on the south side of those two cities. We're live on KFI. We'll also have a press conference that we're waiting for, and we'll dip into that as well. Lots going on here.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Let's go to Robert Kovacic's on Channel 4. Let me punch this up here. He's following the chief of fire department and the mayor's battle.
Infrastructure to meet the increased population, a population that has almost doubled in size since the 1960s. They're understaffed. They don't have enough. They need 62 more fire stations. She said that they had the same model, the same deployment, the same everything in place inside of the LAFD since they had in the 1960s.
Wow.
In the 1960s. In this report, and I'm going to quote here, the LAFD is committed committed to being the premier all-hazard public safety and emergency service provider that exceeds the expectations of the diverse communities we serve. The commitment is unattainable without the requisite resources, staffing, and infrastructure to meet the increased population.
Do you think the mayor fired the chief?
Doubled in size since the 1960s. Here now,
the fire
as
chief?
we wait to get more information, and I'm going to let you guys listen to this. This is part of our interview when Chief Kristin Crowley turned to NBC4, the first media outlet she was willing to speak to today.
Those are our communities, and our people will do everything in their power to protect them. It is my job as a chief to make sure that my firefighters are funded appropriately, are equipped appropriately, and they're trained appropriately. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm in this seat. I will not stop until I get that for them.
You've spoken with the Fire Commission. You have made it very clear that this department is underfunded, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
This department was asked to take a $17 million budget cut.
That is correct.
How does that affect your department?
It impacts our ability to provide service, absolutely.
How did that affect the firefight in the Palisades and beyond?
So, first and foremost, what I just said before is making sure our firefighters have the ability to provide service. So $17 million cut did not allow us to do what we needed to do. And where that impacted us specifically for Palisades was our ability to move into reserve apparatus. The $17 million cut into our ability to utilize resources that should be at our disposal that we were unable to fix because the funding was not there because of cuts to our mechanics.
What type of apparatus are we talking about specifically?
Mainly fire engines and ambulances.
NBC4 wanted to see if that was actually true. News Chopper 4 flying over LAFD fire stations, and we did find those ambulances, fire engines, and other.
Tim, we're going to go to this press conference here that's about the fires going on.
For a violation of California Government Code Section 8665. A violation of the curfew order is a misdemeanor, punishable by a fine not to exceed $1,000 or by imprisonment not to exceed 6 months or both. This countywide curfew order is enforceable in the city of Los Angeles by LAPD officers. Enforcing a curfew is an important tool that will help keep the burn areas and the evacuated properties secure, keeping looters out. This effort also helps protect public safety personnel who are operating in darkness in very difficult conditions. Our community is facing significant challenges, and ensuring the safety and well-being of our residents is our top priority. The LAPD and our law enforcement partners are actively maintaining law and order in areas impacted by the fires. Officers are patrolling these areas to deter criminal activity and to help ensure public safety. To bolster these efforts, the City of Los Angeles Palisades Fire Incident Command is currently developing a vetting process to support private fire prevention and security entities safely entering the fire area. This is being done as a force multiplier for law enforcement efforts. The process for allowing private support entities will entail the agency or company requesting access to provide Palisades Fire Incident Law Enforcement Liaison. And what the process will look like, their contact information for credentials will be verified, the exact resources requested to be allowed access to, the date and times access was requested, the approval from the Incident Operations and Safety. The law liaison will advise law enforcement agencies via emails about the following items once they have been verified. Law enforcement will distribute to deputies and officers in the field a list of those authorized for each operational period. So each day you come out, it'll be a new pass for those that'll have access. An access pass will be also issued to the support entity authorized for access. I want to stress that this is not an invitation for residents to repopulate areas that are evacuated. Remaining properties have no access to power, water, or gas, and major hazards such as debris and wires still remain in the roadways. Also, please be aware that many household items that have burned are now toxic, and can present significant health risks. We recognize that residents want to protect their property, and we believe this effort helps strengthen our ability to help keep the area safe and get information out to property owners. Lastly, you may see the National Guard present in impacted communities. Their support is invaluable during the emergency, enabling law enforcement to help focus on crime suppression. The National Guard is assisting us in the following areas: traffic control. They're managing roadways and ensuring access to affected areas is restricted only to authorized personnel. Critical infrastructure security, maintaining the security over things that we all need, power poles, power sources, other things like along those lines to ensure that security. Checkpoints, they'll be verifying credentials and restricting unauthorized entry into protected zones. While the fires in Pacific Palisades remain an ongoing challenge, the LAPD remains on citywide tactical alert, which means that all personnel and resources are available to be redirected and redeployed to this incident. I want to assure the community that we're working tirelessly to protect lives, property, and maintain public safety during this critical time. I want to thank everybody who has worked with us, who has cooperated with the requests that we have made, the orders that have been given as far as evacuation and maintaining as best we can a semblance of order during this very, very difficult time. We still have fire resources coming in from all over the country to be able to help deal with this major disaster. And so we want to be able to keep it as safe as we possibly can. The measures we put forward here is with an eye to doing that. And so, again, thank you. And thank you to all of you for help getting our message out to the public that we serve. I'll take any questions, but limited to our role here from LAPD, the law enforcement function.
This is KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles and Orange County.
No questions? I can't speak for the sheriff. We have had
no arrests to looting in the fire areas.
Yeah, we've had some arrests, but not for looting within the fire areas in the city of Los Angeles. The sheriff reported last night that there were, I think, probably almost 24 arrests.
Okay.
No questions? Thank you all.
That is a wrap. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll come back. We're watching the fire come up behind Encino and Tarzana. If you're watching that, if you're in the San Fernando Valley, that looks horrible. But the LA Fire Department has a line of Phos-Chek on the top of that mountain that fire is going to be very, very hard to get through that line. So while it does look ominous, the fire department is prepared for exactly this. So we're going to keep an eye on this. The San Fernando Valley, south of Tarzana, south of Encino, up near Braemar, is where you see all these flames. We're live on KFI AM 640. Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.